News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Welcome to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning.
I'm Allan Gilbreth with AllanSpices.com.
And I'm Maximilian, wishing you all a very happy Kid Inventors Day.
Okay, so here we go.
Totally there.
Kid Inventors, I can get behind that.
Maybe it's also because it's Benjamin Franklin Day, and he was quite the inventor himself.
Okay, Kid Inventors Day, and I know there's more, right? Or,
I mean, of course there is.
Yeah,
It's also
okay.
National Bootleggers Day.
burying the lead once again. Okay, I'm writing that down. National Bootleggers Day. All right.
And it's the Day of Judgment.
All right.
You know,
meaning
you
what?
put those in a strange order there, Max. Just letting you know. So,
What does that mean?
It's judging yourself. It's all about judging yourself.
And so is that a good thing or bad thing?
unless you have a cat, in which case the cat will do it for you.
Exactly.
There you go.
Okay. All right. I don't know how much mileage we'll get out of Judgment Day, but
Man, I stopped at kid inventing stuff because no one is more creative than an 8-year-old with a purpose.
Oh. I mean, you're gonna besmirch bootleggers. Think about how creative they gotta be. They're out making whiskey in the middle of
Joe, I was talking about bootleggers.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
good. Yeah, don't give them their due.
I mean, bootleggers are just basically big children that drink.
Okay.
Just you talk about people on a mission.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Okay, that's a pretty good That's a pretty good trifecta of holidays there. So, well, if you want to weigh in on this, you can call or text us at 901-683-0989. I would also encourage you to go over to Facebook and go to @ToolTalkRadio and check out the posts we've made there, including our great moments in building history. Allan, hosting the show is one of the benefits is that I learned just as much as anybody that might listen, because especially in our great moments in building history, today we're going back in time. If my math is correct, this is over 2,300 years, I believe.
About 300 BCE.
Yeah, so
right around in there. Yeah.
We're going to Greece, and we're going to talk about the Colossus of Rhodes, and I have to imagine it's spelled just like Rhodes College, right?
Yeah, it is.
Wow, it's not just something like a big statue. This thing has got a very storied history, and it's also sort of mythological because nobody thought to draw a picture of it, and it's not here, so no historians can agree on what it looks like, which is interesting. So, all right, so Allan, one of the things you brought to the table today, I think I understand it, but you're calling this planned points of failure.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
How things fail if you ignore them will come back to get you.
Oh, see, now I thought this was like purposely, like a circuit breaker or something like that.
I'm talking about all of the above.
Okay, gotcha. So, and then in Allan's Week in Review, the notes I wrote here is just lots of finishing work, right?
Tons.
Okay,
tons
well,
of
that's
finishing work.
That's better than the 3 a.m. call about somebody's, basement is underwater or something.
No wombats crawling through the wiring or anything. This was just absolutely the best part of a job, and that is just the wrap up.
So you mean to tell me that we have wombats down here?
No.
Oh,
Okay.
That's right.
Max, I think I understand what this is. You're talking about aesthetic disguises gone badly from the mind of Max.
Ooh.
So,
Oh, just me venting about some things that I've seen that I dislike.
yeah, Max is. I've been talking to him lately, Allan, and he's getting very critical of other contractors' work now. He's noticing, edges that aren't properly finished and all
Flushed.
sorts of other things. Yeah, flush. He's looking at things that aren't level and all. Because good for you, Max. I'm glad you're getting a more critical eye. So, and there's a lot more. If we have time, we'll get to a cosmic homeowner. We have quite a bit to get to, folks. And of course, we would love to hear from you, especially if you're a kid inventor or if maybe if you're a bootlegger. How have you succeeded? Or
How
how
about
have you
just
stayed
being a
out of
kid
jail?
at heart? There you go.
And then National Judgment Day. We'll see what we get out of that. But anyway, before we get to any of those things, let's get to our must-have item of the week. And Allan, I'm actually not holding it up. I took a picture of it.
You did.
And full disclosure, because this is one I would have shaken And if I would have shaken it, it sounds like a maraca. But...
Yep, it does.
All right, so what's our must-have item of the week?
Well, you have basically an impact hammer or a dead blow hammer.
Yeah.
Or you could call them a mallet if you so desire. And basically what this is, it's designed to deliver weight and force without the impact point.
Right.
So, you got your regular metal hammer, and let's say you're trying to nudge gently a 2x4 into its proper alignment.
Right.
Well, as you're hitting it with the hammer, you're leaving marks. So you have to go get another piece of wood, you beat that piece of wood, and you score it up, but it shoves your 2x4 into place without damaging it.
Right.
Well, you can skip all of that if you've got a properly weighted dead blow.
Yeah. Well, so here's how it happened. And so I'm back, I'm in my big Midtown job that I'm, another one of my great customers. And I got to give a shout out to Becky because in my mind, I was questioning her. I mean, I'm sorry, because I was sitting there. Basically what I had, Alan, is I have these built-in, I'm doing like a built-in situation in her closet. I'm building all custom cabinets and custom whatever. Well, you know how when you get to the corner on sheetrock, how most of the time it is not a 90-degree angle. Usually what happens is because it's so full of spackle and everything, it kind of creates like it's like less than that, or it's more. And then so if you're trying to shove it into the corner, you almost have to use some brute force, which is what I was doing. So I had a hammer and I was trying to shove this thing in place. And I had a piece of protective wood that I was hitting the hammer against. And she goes, I got something in my garage. It's a rubber mallet. And interiorly, I'm rolling my eyes. I'm like, okay, a rubber mallet's not going to cut it. She brings this thing out. I'm like, why does it sound like a maraca? I mean, it had a decent heft to it, but boy, it really has a good impact. And it is rubberized, but it's not like a rubber mallet. I think there's a distinction.
2 questions.
Yeah.
How long have dead blow hammers been around? And second, are the benefits of the dead blow hammer negated if you're having to tap from upside down?
Oh, I don't think so. I don't know, Max. It had
Since we first invented a sock and put an orange in it and whacked the person next to you, there has been a dead blow hammer. So thousands of years we have been using inertia to move things.
Now, Alan, I have to believe there's some metal. I mean, this is not just a rubber, unless it's like
it's a really
PVC heavy duty.
It is it's a Lexanized rubber. It is some pretty serious stuff.
I've seen the interior of it. It does have like a metal core tube to hold
for the handle.
To hold the maraca.
Yeah,
to hold the
sand.
maraca.
Well, I became an instant convert, and I apologize for questioning her judgment, there on the spot. But Alan, this thing's great, man. And to me, it looks pretty much indestructible. I don't know how you're gonna hurt this thing, but
I've broken one or two.
Okay, but questions arise like, okay, what is because I guess the purpose of it is, I'm sure, different than the purpose I was using, and why is there the shaking sound, all that. So
well, all right, let's just dive into different uses.
Okay.
So I am putting together a couch, and I'm going to put the decorative big thumbtacks in place.
Yeah, those are cool.
The last thing you want to do is flatten those with a big old metal hammer.
Or scratch them. Yeah.
Or tear them up or tear up the finish or whatever. So you will see most of the people that use those use either a dead blow or an acrylic hammer. And it gives you that nice swing, and it gives you the force to put it in, to force it into the wood, but it doesn't do the damage. Now, see, a hammer is really designed to hit a nail. It is a metal object designed to hit a metal object.
Right.
A sledgehammer is really designed to break things. It is really designed to bring the full capability of metal and the impact.
Right.
But we don't need that most of the time. So, my favorite example is, you cut everything just right, and that 2x4 is just a little snug.
Yeah.
You got to tap it over just a little bit. You take a nice dead blow that gives you all the weight and all the inertia without the damage, and suddenly this job is a piece of cake.
No, it's great. That's very close to what I needed.
Now,
so,
and
yeah.
Max, if you really want to get a massive, awesome workout, put you a 2x4 up above your head, get you a couple of dead blow hammers, and start and see if you can do the drum solo from In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida.
That kind of makes me think, when I was looking at these dead blows, they kind of made me think of those gimmicky shake weights.
Oh, yeah. Well, inside.
In many ways, the exact same thing, because what you're trying to do is control the moving inertia. So a dead blow hammer and of course, everybody listening that works on cars has rolled their eyes this whole conversation going.
Well, I was waiting to hear.
We've never used those before, Allan. Yeah,
right.
they use those all the time to beat sheet metal back into place. And
well, also, why is it filled? I'm guessing it has to do with dispersing the vibration, but is that the reason that it's filled with?
It is designed to give you the extra. It's a two-step punch. When you bring it backwards, all the material flies to the back of the hammer. And when you bring it forward, you get all the force you're bringing, all the force the hammer's bringing, and then you get the force of what's in the hammer slamming into it.
I think it still disperses it, though. I think there's a lot happening. The physics of this are fascinating. Go out and get yourself a dead blow mallet or hammer and start hitting things and let us know what you think. All right, you're listening to just don't hit the radio.
Yeah, don't hit the radio.
You're listening to Tool Talk Radio. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Well, you know the problem here with water leakage. If you just buy a 50-cent washer.
I've got a better idea. Get the out!
Look, I got some washers in my truck. I'll give you one.
Marge, get my gun.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
I know where you found that. Okay, that escalated quickly. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from Allan Spices over at allanspices.com, and our pal Max over there behind the glass. You can call or text us at 901-683-0989, especially if you're a kid inventor or a bootlegger, or you just want to judge yourself or judge us, I suppose, because today is all three of those holidays: Kid Inventor Day, National Bootlegger Day, and the Day of Judgment. So
one of my
Judgment Day sounds like the Terminator, Max. That's what I thought of.
One of my favorite judgments against us was I love the way that they complained about the way that you laugh.
Oh yeah, I don't know that I can change that. I mean, I was born the way I was born, Allan. I can't, I laugh the way I laugh. But anyway,
I have no comment.
Hey, Allan, our must-have item of the week. Just a couple parting thoughts, because I became an instant convert to the dead blow mallet. Which, if you go to our Facebook page, go to @Tool Talk Radio on Facebook, and you'll see I posted a picture. For one thing, it has a good heft to it.
It does.
It feels good, but also, I don't know. It got the job done. I wasn't sure it would, but we were talking about the other uses for it.
Oh, yeah.
And to me, is it all about dispersing vibration or something? I mean, there's obviously a reason. The force seems like it's dispersed.
Okay, well, all right. I'll give you the strangest example I have ever used a pair of them for.
Okay.
So, working on a resort, we had a leak in a pipe under the floor. So,
that's fun.
So over in the, administrative closet, water is now getting on the floor. And so you get you basically go get a set of listening devices to find the hiss of the leak under the floor.
Oh, it's that. Oh,
so you find the hiss, and now in the middle of your floor, you have now chopped about a 1-foot hole. You dig down to the dirt, you find the pipe, you find the leak. The leak is not that big a deal. You put the repair kit on it, and voila, now you fill it back up with sand, but now you've got to re-pour the concrete.
Yeah.
So you re-pour the concrete, and every time you do this, there's some kind of air bubble or there's something in it that's always going to make this one part of the floor not exactly like the rest of it. And I had a friend of mine throw me a couple of those one times, and he sat down and he goes, "Go for it." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Man, make it level." And I was like, I don't get it. He goes, No. Sit down and pretend you are 5 years old and you are playing along with the radio. So I sat down on either side of the poured concrete patch and began dead blowing on either side on the solid concrete, and it created enough vibration that it settled that concrete perfectly. The little bubbles came out, everything leveled up, and we actually had to add just a tiny little bit more concrete to make sure it was completely dead level. But because of the deadfall action of the hammers, we weren't whacking the concrete dang, 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 dang with a metal hammer. We were creating the settling effect we needed to get that floor perfect.
It kind of makes me think of the idea of like eliminating aeration and making it more solid, because to go to my martial arts example, my sensei talks about how a well-beaten Joe staff is actually hardier than a newer Joe staff because new Joe staffs have all the aerations to it.
Yep, they have all the little air spots.
Oh, yeah, it's compressed wood.
Yeah, I have a bow staff at home that's probably as hard as iron. It's only been used about 60 years.
Which brings me to my next question, Allan. Maybe we have to answer it off the air, but what's the martial benefit of a dead blow versus a standard hammer?
Okay, you are talking about just sheer mass. That's what we're talking about. What we're trying to do is we're trying to create an event that moves as much inertia forward as we can. So that is the whole point. The whole point here is we're able to provide the energy of the impact without the focused damage of an impact. So that is the real idea behind this. And this idea carries to a lot of other ideas. So if you think about how of certain things touch or interact, you'll notice that a lot of times things will roll up to something and stop. And then it begins to interact, because what it's done is it's dispersed that inertial energy that you had moving. So, a thing at rest has a tendency to remain at rest, and a thing in motion has a tendency to remain in motion. So that's the deep side of your dead blow, and you are correct. You are talking about lots of great physics. Because these are
you can tell.
They're amazing. And if you ever actually get into of really kind of designing and moving stuff around, especially if you get into precise furniture joining.
Oh, yeah. Because when you got to connect that mortise and tenon and it's snug or a dovetail joint, you don't whack that thing with a hammer.
No, a dead blow is your best friend.
It makes me think a little bit of like when I was looking at pictures of it. It makes me look like a Fisher-Price baby hammer, essentially. So it's like, get your kids I could picture like the marketing now. Just put like instead of having like baby's first hammer, you just have like a baby hammer made of plastic filled with sand, so they get the feeling and experience of the dead blow before you upgrade them to the big boy.
One little note on
Thor's
that.
baby first hammer there, yeah.
And not to beat this into the ground, literally, but Max, you know what you're making me think of, because we're all about introducing kids to tools at the right age.
Yes.
Don't wait too long. But one thing that's a little counterintuitive is if you get them like, okay, well, you go to the big box store and you grab this nice, soft, little rubberized mallet. Those aren't necessarily safer because those bounce. So when the kid takes a full swing at concrete and it bounces back and hits him in the face, so just
you gotta
be
careful.
aware of that.
You got to be careful.
All right. Well, okay, that's pretty good stuff, man. So, but all right, let's change gears, you guys. I didn't give you time. Oh, there you go.
The humanity.
Forgot to tell him what we were getting to next. But Allan, in your week in review, it sounds like a lot of finesse work, man. A lot of finishing work. So,
well, welcome to, as I like to call it, the sexy part of the job. Because
you better explain that.
Yeah. So. Well, all right, there is the grunt part of the job and the sexy part of the job. The grunt part of the job is when you work and work and work and work and work and work and work, and you just don't see much progress. And you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. Prep work.
There is just all this prep and all this, basically the fixing to get ready to.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, and that's probably 60, 70% of the job is just getting ready to do the job.
Yeah.
And that's the part where your client is sitting there looking at you like, what are you doing?
Sorry, you triggered me, Alan, and you knew you would, but this is one of those things. If you hire if you hire some contractors, and they're doing a building project, and you're marveling at the fact that this whole structure just went up in a matter of days, don't thank them for that. They probably skipped some prep work that needed to be done. So sorry, my feelings about that, man. So
all right, in a hurry is not your friend,
right?
Especially in this business.
Speed isn't always the best thing.
No.
You want good engineering.
So. A lot of taping, a lot of prepping, a lot of, corners and edges and caulking. And, you can caulk for days and nothing looks like it's changed.
Mm-hmm.
And then we hit this past week. So everything's been caulked. Everything's been taped. Everything's been ready to go. And let the raid begin, because now suddenly all of those little mismatched pieces of wood have all been painted the same color. All of the corners have been stripped. Everything's been lined up. And then yesterday was the great untaping. And that is when, when you get to stand there and go, oh, yeah. That looks good. That looks good.
Wait, what are you working on? Is this a bathroom or?
No, this was finishing the whole house. We're doing the actual
final.
We're at the actual walkout on the house, and I've got to tell you when we come back about the backsplash. It is astounding.
Backsplashes sometimes take a lot longer than you would think they would.
They are actually mission critical to your kitchen.
Yeah.
So and there was probably a week's worth of prep before we did this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you a picture of it that we can post up. And the actual outcome is just astounding.
And I want to hear how flat that wall actually was. It looked like a wave machine. So, yeah. But, okay, cool. All right, well, we're in the middle of this riveting tale of Allan's Week in Review. And we'll continue when we come back here on Tool Talk Radio.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
We'll get somebody to clean that up.
We're the ones that got to clean that up. Michael!
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
Well, at least it's getting cleaned up. That's all that matters. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from Allan Spices over at allanspices.com, and our pal Max over there behind the glass. You can call or text us at 901-683-0989, especially if you're a kid inventor or a bootlegger, or if you want to judge people or judge yourself. I don't care. Today's a day of judgment, right? Odd holiday. How would you celebrate a party for judging, a judgment party?
I think that's the same thing as Cat Appreciation Day. just saying,
Yeah, I mean, that's all they do is judge everybody.
They stand there and look at you like, what?
Yeah. Well, Allan, in Allan's Week in Review, you're finishing up a house, but there was a lot of work in the kitchen. I got to give you kudos, man. This you sent me a picture. I guess I better post this on our Facebook at the next break. But tasteful colors. You went with the farmhouse sink, but you went overmount, as we always love.
Yes.
And then,
yes.
But the color scheme looks interesting, but you're not going to be tired of it in 3 years.
It's light.
Right.
It's light. And huge shout out to a friend of the show, Mr. Scott J. Carroll, who is actually who installed that backsplash.
Oh, because you have a tile backsplash all the way up to the...
No, yep. He got supervised, but if you want to know how much you can do on your own,
yeah,
a little practice, a lot of prep, a lot of preparation, and even some really challenging jobs, you can do it yourself.
Oh, yeah.
So, massive kudos to everybody I've worked with on this job, because, we're at the end where it's, wrap it, pack it, clean it, shine it, and
sweep the floor and
and the funny thing, all right, the one thing I will find the funniest is we did raise the ceiling in this entire place from 8 foot to 9 foot.
That doesn't sound easy, man.
It's not. And it's unpleasant every step of the way. However, the finished product, I'll tell you, it's totally worth it.
Well, there's a big difference when you're in a 9-foot ceiling, and it just feels much taller.
It's huge. It just feels absolutely massive. And the one thing I've noticed in the last few months, since we haven't been working up there in a couple of months, right? It's all been down here. It's all been finishing work. It's walls. It's doors. It's pocket doors. It's all these things. And the number of scuffs that you can get 8 feet up in the air on a wall.
Yeah.
I find to be amazing because I spent, most of yesterday running around on a ladder, touching up little spots 7 foot and 8 foot up in the air. And I'm like, who did this? And I have a horrible feeling I'm probably the culprit.
Well, if you're standing on a 4-foot ladder and you're changing a light fixture and you're putting your hand on the wall.
And you're leaning against or you're bumping against. So, welcome to the speed round. So when we got done yesterday, the pocket doors had handles. And if you've never had to put handles on a pocket door, a quick word of advice, put them on before you hang the doors.
There's nothing about pocket doors that's standard.
There is nothing about a pocket door that is
You don't know what is going on in there, man.
It is.
If that angle's off,
Oh
if the floor has junk on it.
It is.
It's like a mystery box.
It's worse when you build it.
Yeah.
But, they worked perfectly. They look gorgeous. Everything got tied up. The spa floor got 3 coats of shiny on it. So, it went from, it looks pretty good to, oh, my goodness. So welcome to that last little bit. And I'm going to throw out to anybody because we're really getting into season here.
Oh, yeah.
February is just not that long. March hits, and it's time to really get in and the spring cleaning and that kind of stuff. And I'm going to be a huge advocate this year of paint that room, finish it up, add some touches, change out the artwork on the walls. Because the one thing we did on a little side job this week was go in and change out all the hardware on the cabinets.
Yeah. Easy upgrade.
Absolutely devastatingly changed from outdated 70s kitchen with this blatantly gaudy 70s knobs to new, clean, chrome, shiny. It totally changed the entire appearance of the bathroom.
Right.
So I had a great week. So awesome stuff.
You know what you're reminding me of? And I'm experiencing this because, in fairness, Allan, I raised 4 kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're raising kids, you're sort of in survival mode. At least I am, and especially when it comes to your time, you're driving kids to volleyball, you're doing whatever, and there's these home projects that you want to do, and it's like, well, I'll get to it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that some point has arrived for me. Like I'm getting to all the. I mean, we've renovated our kitchen, we updated. We're getting our house to the point where all we want to do down the road is just maintenance, or if we want to paint a wall or so, we want the house done finally.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, as we're finishing these projects, there's so many of them, kind of simpler ones like you're talking about, where we're looking at each other. It's like, why didn't we do this 20 years ago? This one little upgrade has been such a nice improvement for whatever. It's like, why did, and it's even down to things like we reconfigured our living room and we mounted the TV correctly instead of having it just sit over on this stupid cabinet thing and it's nice. And it's like, I would encourage people, time can slip away really fast, man, and just get the things done. You'll be happy you did. So.
And would you say it also surprised you how quickly you got it done in?
Oh, well, yeah, Max, that's the other part that you hate, because it's like, okay, this literally took 6 hours. I could have done this 20 years ago, and the improvement is now not all jobs are that quick. I'm just saying, but there are some of those projects, Max, where they are quicker than you. Like, for example, I'm scraping my popcorn ceiling finally. That stuff's just coming right off, man. I spray it with a bottle because I told you my living room, we hate that. We're just like we're getting rid of it. We're finally doing it. It's literally, I put some plastic down, I spray it, it comes right off.
I'm not trying to sound kind of fatalist and everything, but maybe your procrastination was actually a good thing, because 20 years ago you didn't have the knowledge that 20 years you now has. So you might be able to do things more efficiently
that's
now
true.
than then.
Well, that might be true. I don't know what a popcorn ceiling I think I could have done, but you're right, Max. There's some things that accumulated wisdom has helped me do the job quicker.
Well, the other thing is the lack of things underfoot.
Yeah, I don't have
four
a 4-year-old running underneath the ladder, or I have to, take. It's funny how busy you can get with the kids stuff. It eats up a lot of time. So.
As I tell everybody, as you look forward to these projects, just don't get in a hurry.
Yeah,
and take your time. And the other thing is, the tiny little piece of advice I'm going to throw in for the average homeowner is understand how you're going to sabotage yourself before you get a project done.
Well, you got to be very brutally honest with how motivated
tough,
are you going to finish this?
Yeah, it's tough. Don't take the shelves down and don't box up all the knickknacks and not have that next day available to put everything back.
Mm-hmm.
And people do that. Oh, we got 4 hours. We'll be done. No, you won't.
Yeah.
It's going to take twice as long as you think every single time. And you really got to plan the recovery.
And it's probably smart to just do one project at a time.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Big
some
time.
people, it's fun to start the project. It's the finishing that and then you got 8 unfinished projects all around the house. So
Isn't there like a parable about that?
Probably is, man.
And that was kind of the big thing for my week this week was all of these projects were at 95, 97, 98%, but they were all dominoed. So, until we got done on the back porch, we couldn't finish the door. We couldn't finish the door because we could,
Yeah.
So we finally found that one linchpin event, which was paint the ceiling on the back porch.
Right.
All right, that's done. All the tape comes down. Everything's down. We're off. We're out of here. We can shut this door, and now we can do the door. Now we're out of here. And
right.
And once those dominoes began falling, Thursday and Friday were just, barn burners. We're honestly rolling through the house, just balls of tape and little finished products. And anything we found, we immediately, if somebody said, hey, we missed the spot, you went and did it right then.
Yeah, because you don't want to forget that.
It looked so good yesterday when we went rolling out the door.
Did you, do you get, well, of course, it's a little different in some situations, but do you like to give the tour after a job's done? Or, this one, it sounds like, were they living there at the time? Or
No. There's nobody in the house at the time.
Okay, good.
So that'll be coming next week because I'm not done with the exterior stuff.
Okay.
There's still a mound of landscaping dirt that's got to go away and a couple of tiny minor things. But the minute these minor things are out of the way, the visual is going to be dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very excited about it. So next week I'll be talking about moving dirt and cinder blocks and...
Well, and this is the time to be thinking about it, right? We're not that far. It's funny because this winter, I don't want to jinx it, but this winter has been a cakewalk, honestly.
So far, I'm very happy. We haven't made it through February yet, but, we all know February, around Valentine's is always the worst weather.
Yeah, but no ice storms, knock on wood.
Yep. We didn't have any hurricanes this year either.
I was in shorts and a T-shirt last week.
Yep.
Working outside. So, yeah. And, but anyway, okay. Well, Allan, I didn't prepare you for this, and I don't think I teased this at the top of the show, but when we come back, I have a tool tale. I'm very tempted by this new motorized item that I saw. So we'll talk about that when we come back here on Tool Talk Radio.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Leslie wanted to hire a contractor to build a stage. I don't want to paint with a broad brush here, but every single contractor in the world is a miserable, incompetent thief.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
Yeah, thanks, Max. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning. With my buddy Allan Gilbreth from Allan Spices over at allanspices.com, and our pal Max over there behind the glass. You can call or text us at 901-683-0989. And we also invite you to go to Facebook and go to @Tool Talk Radio and check out the posts we made over there. Actually, I forgot to post the picture of your of the finished kitchen. I'll try to do that at the top of the hour break. So, but Allan, before the break, I sort of teased something, and I was on a job site. So I think this is the right name for it. This Becky, my customer Becky, she has an upstairs exercise room.
Right.
Which sounds great, but it's creating problems. Yeah, well,
you have stairs involved. No.
Here's the thing. So she has an elliptical machine. Those are those things. I mean, okay, they're huge, they're heavy, they're awkward. They have these. You need a lot of space to accommodate it. And she's tired of it. She said it's boring. She wanted something else. So she bought herself this treadmill setup where you can adjust the elevation, actually automatically adjust, and it's got a screen. So you could program in anything. You could say, I want to walk through the Himalayas and whatever, and it'll mimic that, and you can go on all these quests and play music and all that. And she said, look, she told the guys, if you just, I'll give you this elliptical machine. This probably costs $2,500, but it's a nice machine. She's just trying to get rid of it, but the challenge is getting it down the stairs. This thing weighs a ton, and it's got all the weird angles, and there's nowhere good to grab it or anything like that.
Yeah, just remember it's Leviosa.
Yeah.
When you try to get the thing to levitate.
And they said, I'm sorry, we can't do it, because they didn't want the liability of gouging up her stairs. So I understood their point. But Allan, on the way up, they had something that I thought was one of the coolest things I ever seen. It was a motorized dolly for helping you go upstairs.
Yeah, it had a stair walker.
And basically, because back in the day, I used to have to haul stuff. I used to haul refrigerators upstairs by myself. But these two guys, they were bringing up her new machine. And basically, as far as I could tell, so it's battery powered. The only thing motorized was this little these little yellow rollers that did this little flip thing.
Yep.
So one guy's at the bottom steadying it, one guy's at the top, but all they were doing is steadying the dolly. And this little machine just went, and it went right up the stairs. They were up those stairs, and these are a lot of stairs. I want to say there's like 15 or 20 stairs. They were up these stairs in less than 30 seconds. It was
nobody had to die.
It was something to behold. They got it up there safely. They didn't put one scratch on the stairs or anything. I feel like we're in for a revolution of other things being motor. And I don't feel like this is robots taking over. This is just a better designed dolly.
This is people being smart.
Right. So, but
I've used those dollies before, and they are absolute back savers.
Yeah. No, it sounds good. So, but okay. Well, we're going to interrupt my tale of this motorized dolly. You said, what's going on, Max?
Well, we actually had a caller, but they hung up.
Oh.
So, but we did get text on the text line.
All right. Well, let's address those. What did the caller want?
They were asking some gardening related question.
Well, call
text
back,
it back in or give us a call back.
They probably got another call on the line. So, okay, Jess, sorry about that, but call back. All right, but what do we got on the text line?
Allan's getting indirect praise.
Uh-oh.
Denise said that the soundbite of Allan's weekend review always makes her laugh.
It doesn't blow out her eardrums or anything. So, okay, well, thanks, Denise, because I'm always concerned about the shock value with that. So, okay.
And then we had anonymous texter 3396 say, "Tell Allan that the spice that I got from Painted Tree was great."
Oh, well, awesome! Thank you.
Well, Allan, that's probably a good opportunity to talk about Allan's spices real quick. So,
well, yeah, we got this.
And you're going to undersell it, right?
Got a brand new introduction, literally yesterday. I have my version of a garam masala. And I will freely tell people, do not combine that with mango or chicken. It's very dangerous.
What does that mean?
That means you'll eat way too much.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that's mango and chicken are two very different things.
Yes, but mango, chicken, and some garam masala seasoning makes for a really tasty dinner.
Okay. Well, I'm shaking this right now. You can't hear it, folks. So it's a very fine. It's not a very coarse or loud spice that you got here.
Very, very fine grind. So, I do appreciate that. Yeah, because I'm also the food dude and a few other things. So, for those who listen, and if you when you meet us at a home show, I love answering food questions because it makes Joe crazy.
Yeah, it's funny. Everybody comes up to our Tool Talk booth, and all they want to do is ask you about roast beef and marinating chicken.
The best one ever was the guy that walked up to you a couple of years ago and just told you, I can't fry chicken. And you looked at him and went, neither can I. And pointed
I
at me.
pointed over. Yeah, it's the other guy. So, no, but Allan, this is cool. And so he went over to the Painted Tree to pick this up, and he or she, I don't know who that
I got a big old booth over there, so there's all kinds of cool stuff. As a matter of fact, I'll be out there today from 2 to 4.
Restocking. So the Painted Tree, it's over in that. It's over right off of 40. Right?
Yes. It's across from
Germantown
It's
Road.
right across from Home Depot, our other home away from home.
Right. So it's in that mall, and then booth number what?
B20.
And then of course, if you don't want to go out to Cordova, just order online. Go to Allan's Spices, ALLANS Spices.com. So no, good stuff, man. And they've been getting used a lot at my house. So,
Well, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
But okay, now let's see. You were talking about something, and I don't know whether this is a tool. I don't know what this is, but you talked about planned points of failure.
Yes.
And I think we need to unpack what that means. So,
well, again, looking at of going through the local big box stores, the spring stuff is starting to come out. I'm starting to see the gardening stuff. I'm starting to see, the soils and the mulches. The stuff is starting to pile up there in the back. And I went, all right, as you get into your projects, I have basically 2 rules when I talk to a homeowner about anything. One, there is no law against overbuilding.
right.
So if it needs a 2x4 and you want to use a 4x4, please do.
Yeah.
If it needs a 4x4 and you think you're going to get away with a 2x4, you're not. Life is. Don't get cheap.
Don't be underbuilding.
Don't get cheap because you'll regret it. The other one is you can never have too many points where stuff can stop. All right, case in point, a breaker switch. A breaker is put in because something could happen electrically and you don't want to burn down your house.
Right.
You want the breaker to throw.
Yeah.
This is why whenever you're working on your kitchen, if you're within 6 feet of water, you should be using a ground fault interrupt socket.
With the little button
That's
there
the guy with the
reset.
little button.
Right.
Because that's a tiny little breaker switch.
Right.
And it's designed to keep you from, blowing up your kitchen because the blender caught on fire.
Is that a similar logic to the idea of building with flexibility in mind? Because I'm reminded of that shin bashira that would be like in pagodas, where it's like it keeps the layers stacked together, but it also allows for movement.
Exactly.
It's better to have a small failure than a catastrophic failure, right?
Understand failure is going to happen. It's not an if. It isn't. It is an absolute guarantee. If you have a toilet, at some point there will be a leak. Mm-hmm. So can you turn off the water at the toilet?
Yeah.
Can you turn off the water under the sink? Can you turn off? And I have no problem with. In this one project we're working on, we actually have a basement. And I'll tell you what we did down there when we come back.
Okay, but there's lots of, I don't know if we call this redundancy, but planning for points of failure, it takes, instead of a big problem, it's a small problem and
take big
manageable.
Problems and keep them small.
Exactly. All right, hour 1 of Tool Talk Radio is in the can, but stay tuned. There's a lot coming up in the second hour of Tool Talk Radio.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from Allan Spices over at AllanSpices.com. And our pal Max over there behind the glass. You can call or text us at 901-683-0989. Especially if you are a kid inventor, or if you are celebrating National Bootleggers Day or the National Day of Judgment. So I really like that. I like that title. I don't know how you celebrate it, I don't know. I mean, unless you're judging maybe yourself, like you're judging your bad habits, and you're like, I'm gonna change, I'm gonna reform my life or something. But
although the funny thing is it's also ditch your resolutions day.
Well,
so you're judging yourself and ditching your resolutions.
Okay, I got news for you, Max. Those resolutions got ditched like 2 weeks ago, don't you think? I mean,
40 years ago, I made a resolution to not make any more resolutions.
There you go. So, well, I don't know if it's in that same vein, but before the break, Allan, we're talking about the benefits of basically planned points of failure.
Yes.
In design, and this goes for everything. This goes for car design. This goes for home design, to everything. Well,
absolutely. Well, the biggest thing is like I said on this one project, we actually have a basement. It's like, all right, this is the perfect spot to put a shutoff valve. This is the perfect spot for, like a hot water tank. A hot water tank should have a catch pan under it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Your air conditioner needs a condensate pump. So there are a lot of things that perhaps you don't want to think about, like when this fails. I, on the other hand, am a massive proponent of, where's the water key? Mm-hmm. Is it hanging someplace easy to get to and visible? I don't care if you decoupage it. I don't care how you dress it up. But keep that water key someplace so that everybody can find it.
And as we've said in the past, because when you have kids and they get to a certain age, maybe 8 or 10 years old, they need to know how to use a fire extinguisher. They need to know safety. Well, they also need to know how to turn the water off. I don't care. You know what a leak or anything could do to your house. So.
As we've said, water is the enemy, but so is just not accepting the fact that a planned point of failure is a good thing. Mm-hmm. It's, at some point, and the one thing I get frustrated with when people want to put in fire pits.
Oh, yeah.
And I look at them and go, how are you going to clean it?
Yeah.
You clean a fire pit? Yeah, because it fills up. And they're like, oh. And I said, well, yeah, you always think of the negative. No, because I'm usually the one with the pooper scooper because y'all didn't think about what a Great Dane does after you feed it.
Well, I think a lot of us understand that, Allan. But
no, apparently people don't because, when I start talking about, how things fail and when things fail and where things fail, suddenly I'm the guy with a negative attitude. And I'm going, no, because if you don't plan for failure, and when it does happen, and it will happen, surprise, now everybody is running around in a panic.
Yeah.
Now, I got a question with regards to failure. What is the area, like what is the most catastrophic method of a failure that could occur in a house that could be prevented with the easiest solution?
An air filter.
Now explain. I didn't think you would say that. I thought it was going to have to do with plumbing. So.
Nope, an air filter.
What do you mean?
It's a $2 part, and when it clogs up, you don't have any AC, and it's August.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, let's just be brutally honest. That is the cheapest, easiest, quickest thing to change out, and I would say it's time to change them out at the end of February because you had all winter, and that air filter is basically full of you.
Ugh. Yeah,
it's I hate to say it like that, but it's basically full of your hair and your skin. And let's get it out of there, and let's get ready for the dust and pollen and stuff of summer. Let's not have a backed up air filter. The other one is, do you have a filter on your drink machine, water machine, or ice machine?
Oh, yeah. Don't ignore those. Those got to be changed like every 6 months.
Like every 3 months. Have
really?
You seen, depending upon...
Maybe on how much you use it.
Yeah, depending upon where you are and how much you use it. But like you said, you had 4 kids.
Yeah.
If you had 4 kids, that thing's running like a sprinkler system.
Yeah.
And they turn funky colors quickly. And you're like, that was in the water. Yeah.
Our refrigerator gives us an alert if it gets too clogged up. And I think they recommend every 6 months, but I don't know if it went off at 5 months or something.
In Memphis, we
have good water.
We are shockingly blessed. Again, for those of you who live in Memphis, you have no idea how good you have it with water here.
This is a bit of an aside, but speaking of water infiltration, do the aqueducts that are still functional in like Italy, do they have any water filters naturally?
Well, you're talking about all the limestone. You're talking about a lot of limestone and marble, and naturally occurring filtration systems are why of the state of Kentucky has so many distilleries in it.
Oh, because
the water is very well filtered. The water in Memphis, Tennessee comes through something called a sand system. So the water falls 2 counties to our right on the east, actually soaks into basically sand beds, flows under us, and that is what we tap into as an artesian well. So we have this amazingly, wonderfully sand-filtered water. Of the opposite effect happens in Appalachia, where unfortunately water may have been filtered through a coal deposit and is now quite poisonous.
Oh, great. Yeah.
So, well, this is why, especially in the rural areas of if you have a well or you're thinking about getting a well, you definitely need to have it tested.
Right.
Make sure the water that you're getting from this well is an actual potable water. Now, that doesn't sound like a big problem in Memphis specifically, but the Memphis area, you could, if you do live in the county or you live in a somewhere close, like Fayette County or in DeSoto County, the thought of having your own well is quite attractive to a number of people. And I tell everybody, I know we got great water here, but if you're going to get a well, make sure you get a professional company to look at it and make sure it's tested.
Yeah, I've
had
experiences with wells, and I'm not a fan.
Yeah, but you could be tapping into some amazing water.
Yeah.
And then again, you could be downstream of something you don't want to be downstream of.
Bingo.
Yeah.
It makes me think of the Appalachians because going back to our holiday today about moonshining, isn't it kind of odd that moonshine occurs a lot in the Appalachians and yet there's
not
very
at all
filthy water?
No. The water that you have, they are very good at spotting good water. And so you have mountain filtered. They are looking for streams that are either ice melt or actually what you would consider geologically filtered, because there's a lot of limestone and a lot of rock formations that produce shockingly clean, cold, amazing water, which is why you see so much distilling. Like I said, Kentucky, the backside of Tennessee, going into North Carolina. That is why so many places have so many distilleries. They have amazing water.
What are the disclaimers we have to do when we were praising moonshine?
Yeah, I don't know.
I keep talking about legal distilleries.
Well,
legal. Pay your taxes.
If we're talking about planned points of failure, though, I would just say water and electricity are, to me, those are at the top of my list, because those are the things that could either burn your house down or destroy it by flooding, or, they could cause catastrophic damage to your home. So I would definitely just make sure you have your circuit breakers and your fuse boxes in good shape. And then also I would say, there's probably no law in adding more cutoff places for your plumbing too.
And I'm a huge proponent of that, having worked in, commercial buildings for a long time. The easier it is to close off a section of a building, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking in terms of planned points of failure, something external to include as part of that. Like, it's kind of like the water key, but for your electricity. It's the idea of having like a decent generator just to power your fridge, because it's like, imagine the hole that you're burning in your pocket if the power goes out and you lose the food in your fridge.
Well, that's a good point too. And generators are getting more efficient. You can get them; they're more portable, and you can even get some more.
Well, I think that's going to be a big topic for next week.
Yeah,
because we're going to talk about alternative energy and energy storage as we get into spring, because we got a lot of free sunlight coming, and there have been a lot of changes in that industry.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to put that down as listen up next week. How's that for your big teaser?
I'm writing it down now.
Listen up next week, because we're going to take your planned points of failure and turn them into planned points of power.
Now there you go.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Absolutely.
That's some good empowerment going on there in the house.
But, failure is not a bad thing, ladies and gentlemen, unless it's unexpected.
It is, in fact, an option.
Yeah, there you go. Very good. Boom, drop the mic. That's good stuff, you guys. So, we're going to this is going to be good. So, when we come back, we are going to get to our great moments in building history. It's also some lessons of maybe how not to design something, but regardless of the design, it's a historic monument, the Colossus of Rhodes.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
When Pam gets Michael's old chair, I get Pam's old chair. Then I'll have 2 chairs. Only one to go.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
I wonder if I can get him to haul off Becky's elliptical machine. I don't know. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from Allan Spices over at allanspices.com, and our pal Max over there behind the glass. You can call or text us at 901-683-0989. And Allan, I feel like we need to do a little public service announcement here because I know what's going on. I can see it as clearly, I can see it in my mind that there's people out there in the Memphis area or maybe, across the country. They just woke up. They overslept. They had meant to listen to the whole show, and somehow they missed the first hour of Tool Talk Radio, and now they're just really depressed and they're crying in their coffee. But there's hope for those people, right?
There is indeed. All they got to do is go to that lovely thing called the internet and pop over to tooltalkradio.com, where there is honestly years and years of content sitting there waiting for their listening pleasure. And by the way, welcome to Brazil. That has joined our new listening family. So we are honestly podcasted around the globe.
There you go.
It's kind of cool. With the wonderful thing about the internet, you never have a limitation as to where or when you want to listen.
No, it's great, man. That is one thing about technology. I'll give it its due.
It's pretty cool stuff. So yeah, tooltalkradio.com. And by the way, we make amazing motivational background noise for getting the job done.
Exactly. Put it on, and while you're working, it'll keep you from sitting down and watching the football game and keep you focused on that home improvement
let's get
project.
it done. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, this is going to be interesting. So.
And now, great moments in building history.
So here we go. We were actually, Max, I think you had talked about something about the 7 wonders of the ancient world.
I thought that would have been a kind of fun thing to do for great moments in building history, is kind of chip our way through some of the ones we haven't discussed yet.
Yeah, because I was looking. I mean, I think we've done like 3 of the 7 already. I don't know how you do the pyramid. The pyramids is so.
We've done the pyramids though.
Have we? Okay. Well, this one caught my attention, and I was just like, okay, let's investigate this. And what's always interesting is, for me, I mean, I know you're a human encyclopedia and you pretty much already know this stuff, but for me, it's always an opportunity to learn, which I think is cool.
Okay. Well,
but so I looked up so there's this giant statue called the Colossus of Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, the immediate thing you notice about if you Google this, is there's like 50 different. Okay. One, it's standing above a harbor where the boats go under the lake. In other, there's no consensus on what it looks like because nobody thought to draw a picture of this, and it's no longer standing. So that part's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But so we're talking a 12-year building project, and so this was built it was finished in the year 282 BC. It's because you got to do math, you got to do it backwards. So they started in like 290, something like that.
Right.
Okay. Or no, 294, whatever it would have been. But Allan, so here's the basic bullet points for our listeners. So it was in honor of the god Helios, who I forgot what his deal is, but basically the sun god. Here's what I love about this, though. So there was this conqueror Demetrius. Was he Roman? Max? Or
what's interesting, he was Macedonian. He was actually among the people who were part of, like, after Alexander the Great died. It's like, all right, I want a cut of the turkey.
One of these power hungry, whatever. So Demetrius and his armies besieged this island, which is an island, right? I mean, it's because it's got a harbor.
Yes, it is the island of Rhodes. It is the island of Rhodes,
not the college.
And so they really were trying to get in. I mean, and in those days, you either starved out your enemy or you laid siege to them. Well, they were bringing battering rams. They brought those siege towers, which, if you watch Lord of the Rings, it's one of those. Well, eventually they gave up. They're like, these people are too hard to beat. And I guess his people back home, politically, this wasn't the Macedonians were kind of tired of this invasion, and so they said, Demetrius, get home. You failed, and whatever. Well, they left behind all sorts of equipment, and they left behind all sorts of things made of silver. They left a lot of gear.
Well, all right.
Right.
Let me add a couple of facts to this.
Okay.
What was the actual economy of the island of Rhodes renowned for?
Oh, that's a good question.
Why did they want them so bad?
Well, it looks like a desirable tourist destination.
Well, no, it had nothing to do with tourism. It had to do with the fact that the island of Rhodes was famous for its technological advance for building war machines.
Is this where that one guy with the Max? Who's your buddy? That
not
that's
Archimedes.
Archimedes.
No, Archimedes was not here, but
he was Syracuse.
The economy of the island of Rhodes was war.
Huh. Okay.
So that's why the Macedonians wanted it as part of their kingdom. However,
so they're attacking people that are experts in war design, and they think they're going to succeed.
And
like Sparta.
And because you brought up Egypt, of the island of Rhodes, aligned themselves with Cleopatra's patriarch Ptolemy.
Okay, which has a P at the
yes,
silent P.
Yes, it is a PT at the beginning of it. So Ptolemy, whose family went on to rule Egypt, also a contemporary of Alexander, became buddies with Rhodes, and Ptolemy is who basically arranged for the siege to fail.
Okay, I wondered about that because in the aftermath, Ptolemy actually offered to. I'm getting ahead of us, but Ptolemy the Third offered to help refinance, but we're skipping ahead. But,
right, but that's why
the
Ptolemys
were
now
tight
involved.
with
Right.
the Rhodes,
and because
people.
of that, they decided to erect a really big statue. And so, how does a primitive culture 2,000 plus years ago build a 14-ton bronze statue? Because, well, that's what they did.
And it was over 100 feet tall. I think they want to say it was like 100.
So, it's an estimated about 14 tons of bronze and probably about 8 tons of infrastructure made out of iron.
Well, they didn't design it like the Statue of Liberty, I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
because
it is.
No, I mean, because the Statue of Liberty has a thin...
Has steel and copper.
They built the guts
right,
the right way.
Steel
See,
and copper.
we always we were just talking earlier in the show about contractors that don't do their prep work. Well, here you go. They
did their prep work, but they didn't have steel back then.
Well, yeah.
They had bronze and they had iron. And they managed to build a 100-foot tall statue that nobody else could build.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking, I think they said the challenges too were, okay, I thought what I found interesting was I saw these pictures of the siege weapons and the battering rams. Well, I thought they used those to construct they basically turned it into construction equipment, like winches and what do you call it? Like cranes and things like that.
Yeah, trebuchet became a lifting device. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I like that.
Well, when the armies walked off, you don't take all your junk with you. You just leave it.
Especially when you fail.
And when you're an island nation like Rhodes, you don't waste anything. You go get the stuff and you repurpose.
Yeah.
So here they go. They build the Colossus.
I have a question actually with regards to who they build, not necessarily why, because of all the people they chose, this is a place renowned for like warfare and everything. Why didn't they choose like the god of war? Why did they choose the god of the sun?
Because they were kissing up to Ptolemy.
Well, because Helios, what's he the god of? Because they said he protected him. That's
yes,
what
he
they
was
thought.
the sun god.
So
yes.
I wonder how the sun god protects him or something.
I didn't ask him. I wasn't there.
Well, motivation's important. I mean, they could have chosen anybody.
because of the sun.
Yeah. So they wanted to honor him. What I found interesting is the repurposing angle, the one they chose to honor.
At least it's better than them trying to honor Caligula, like where they did that episode of where Caligula just took his head and put it on all the statues, even the female goddesses.
Okay. Anyway, but.
All right. Well, Charles, I believe, was the name of the sculptor put in charge of this, if I remember correctly.
I got it right here. What was the guy's name? It was Charles of Letos.
Yes, that's it. So there's Charles. And, 12 years of casting bronze and building infrastructure, they erected this thing. However, the world in which these people lived in, and we always talk about, we love the movies like Attack of the Titans, and we love the stories. The simple, horrible fact is this part of the world is not the most seismically stable on the planet.
It seems like all the really beautiful places where there's volcanoes and great beaches and stuff, you pay the price with seismic.
There's a big earthquake or something. Yeah.
So there's more here. This is a really colossal story that we're going to unpack here as we continue talking about the Colossus of Rhodes.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Oh, I steal things all the time. It's just something I do. I stopped carrying a long time ago. You should see how many supplies I've taken from this place. Honestly, I love stealing things.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
Sounds like Demetrius.
Well, a lot of negativity there, Max. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from Allan Spices over at allanspices.com. And our pal Max over there behind the glass. You can call or text us at 901-683-0989. And if you're just tuning in, we're in the middle of our Great Moments in Building History, and we're talking about a giant statue. It really existed. It doesn't exist anymore. I think it's been melted down. But the Colossus of Rhodes over in Greece. And we should mention that the Greeks, they built the statue in honor of surviving the siege of Demetrius, who this army came in and tried to take over their island and failed, and they left all their equipment there and everything. And so they decided to build a statue over 100 feet tall, and in honor of the god Helios, because they thought that the gods protected them. And Allan, they didn't even have a word to describe how big this is. This at the time, this was the biggest statue in the world. So they invented the word Colossus, which it's interesting because it sounds big. I don't know if it's a derivation. Allan or Max, you're the linguist here, but I don't know if it's a derivation of anything. But
originally a Colossus was just a magical statue.
Okay.
And then Rhodes came along and went, nah, hold our beer.
Okay.
Let me show you how to build a big old statue.
Well, they really did it.
Yeah.
But they built it out of bronze. I guess my question would be, it just shows, I guess there was a lot you could learn about metallurgy here, because regardless of whatever position this thing was standing in, if you're looking at a statue, there's so many weird angles. There's so many points where you look at it and go, because I look at this when I look at a fine piece of furniture. Like sometimes you've seen it, Allan, that spindle table that looks really cool. It's got all this great lathe work, but when you're looking at it, the first thing you see is like, okay, all of the weight is on this one little corner here, and if it fails, the whole thing's going to fall over. So,
in other words, going back to our previous discussion, you're uncertain whether or not it had planned points of failure.
I don't think they accounted for this because it didn't.
I'm going to pick the ball up and run like a 5-year-old with a brand new pair of scissors, a slightly different direction on this.
Okay.
All right, here's your takeaway lesson for spring coming up, and you want to build new projects. Drastically understand the difference between value added and vanity.
Oh, vanity. Here we go.
This was a vanity project. It value added nothing to their harbor. And they did not take into consideration the fact that an earthquake was probably going to slam it to the ground.
Well, there you go.
And 100
they did not
feet
flexibility.
Up. Yeah. See, iron just doesn't have the flexibility of steel. Iron will break.
Right. Well, this was bronze.
No, the outside was bronze. The infrastructure to this thing is steel. Is not steel. It's iron.
Yeah.
And then how about the fact that, like if I'm not sure how common tsunamis and stuff were like in this area, but like imagine getting high waves and it crashes onto the statue. Imagine how much corrosion that might cause.
Well, there's a question about whether this thing was actually on the water, Max, because the thing is, well, let's just cut to the chase. So this thing in the year, what I'm looking here. Okay, so it was built in 282 BC, so we have to do our math backwards. In the year 226 BC, there was an earthquake, like Allan said, and it snapped off at the knees.
Yep.
So if you're looking at it, it makes total sense. You have basically 90% of the weight above the knees, and we don't know if this statue had its arm extended. We don't know, but whatever it was,
it's an earthquake. It starts whacking back and forth, and those knees, just like us old guys, those knees couldn't take it.
Right. And I like the fact, I kind of like the anecdote of what happened next. It's like, oh, should we rebuild it? And so they say, I don't think we should rebuild it. I think the god Helios is angry with us, so let's consult the Oracle of Delphi.
Yeah, what was the Oracle of Delphi? Because she was, I forget what exactly she said, but they listened, basically. So basically, it's funny because they go to all this trouble to pay honor to the god Helios and build this giant statue, and then it falls over an earthquake, and they say, well, maybe Helios didn't like it, so we shouldn't rebuild it. I don't know, man.
Maybe he didn't think it was a good representation enough.
Yeah.
It was a good start.
The reason that I personally don't think it was right on the water, Max, is because historians agree on this, that it fell and there were parts all over the place. It didn't just fall and just topple over. Everything. The arms went over there. The head went over there. Yeah. But visitors, it was for centuries, it was still a tourist destination because you could come and see the wreckage of this. So obviously if it fell in the water, now like Allan said, maybe it was on the water and it fell inland or something, but it was it was on land, for centuries. So, but
like I said, this was all right. They built it because they could.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. This was an island with the technology to build big stuff. If they could build a siege engine, if they could build a war tower, if they could build the, Horse of Troy, which they could, they had the technology and the knowledge to build this statue. So here they go. They build this giant thing, but, nobody expects the tsunami. Nobody expects the earthquake. Let's just face it, building codes were a little lax back then.
Yeah. But I do have a question, though. Or not a question. Maybe I have a rebuttal, Allan, because you said this is a vanity project. Well, it was also creating a tourist destination because people of means, and let's face it, this was a harbor. There was trade coming in from all around the the other countries and stuff. So if you're somebody that, you've got money or something, you're going to want to go see this statue. So I have to believe it still generated money in terms of tourism.
Right.
So it wasn't fully a vanity project.
We don't live in a city with a giant pyramid on a river, do we?
Right. Yeah. So that's business. Tourism is business. So
tourism is big business, but my tie of this, my fable and lesson of this, when you begin doing stuff to your home, because I have a friend who is about to launch into a very large project to update about 1905 home to modern standards.
And, oh, boy, really?
Oh, it's just, it's going to be a challenge.
That's a can of worms.
It is, I talk about 30 years of stupid all the time. We're talking about 100 years of... Yeah, we didn't used to do it like that.
Yeah.
So they are getting ready to launch into this huge project. And, we've already sat down and had a long talk of what is needed, what is necessary, and what is vanity. Because she wants things done a certain way. And some of it is going to certainly add value to the home. So, you're looking at your backyard, you're looking at this, and you go, this house really needs a deck. All right. Well, a good deck of the proper size and well built is certainly going to add value to your home. However, it doesn't need to be 3 stories and have a jungle gym in it. There's a point where you move to tourism and you left value behind.
I'm kind of reminded of something too with regards to this structure. I like the idea of memorializing an event and kind of applying that to your homes as well, because imagine the cool things that you could make in order to memorialize. Let's just say, for example, your wife, Jo, is very happy that she finally conquered the squirrels. So she builds a statue with like her underfoot of the squirrels pointing and like a conquering of the squirrel statue.
Yeah. I mean, and so, yeah, Alan, I mean, I know you don't have any sentimentality, but I think a little of this vanity, and I mean, hey, they were grateful that they were, as far as they saw it, Helios saved them from this invasion, and they wanted to pay tribute and
until
thank
he
them.
didn't.
So.
I understand, but they could have done that with a nice plaque.
Well, who's
you could have built a
this
shiny thing, because 7 years later, this and you had to know this was an expensive project,
right?
Is now a tourist trap of an entirely different kind. It's not the, come look at our great statue. It's everybody going, psst, did you hear what happened to the statue? I want to go see that.
Okay, but Alan, go ahead, Max, because
there's literally a poem about, like, what was it, that Ozymandias? It's like, oh, look at this big statue of the great ruler that was. That's what it makes me think of.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. It's all about marketing, because here's what if you were back in the day and you're trying to get people to come to this island, well, you can say, hey, we constructed this giant statue of Helios. Helios didn't approve, and now come see the wreckage. And we're going to honor Helios by not rebuilding this statue, and we're going to
put up
memorialize
a nice plaque.
this crime, this scene of carnage and wreckage,
now,
and
come
drachmas. See this. So either way, you can get them coming or going.
Oh yeah,
man.
you can, and of course, eventually, the wreckage was absorbed back into the economy,
and so they still did okay. I would still say it was a net gain, regardless of whether it fell over.
And we're still talking about it today.
Yeah.
And the question arises: would we even have Rhodes College if it weren't for the Colossus of Rhodes?
Would they be a footnote?
Would they not be on the? Is this what put
those
the Rhodes
are
on the map?
unrelated, dude. Words came from different places.
Real quick, in the year 653, so we're talking like 900 years later, the island was conquered. It was the Umayyad Caliphate, and they couldn't have cared less about the statue, so they melted it down and hauled it off. It took 900 camels to haul off the bronze and the iron.
Hey, those were
So,
resources.
and it was also the inspiration for the Statue of Liberty, but the Statue of Liberty did a better engineering job, which is why it's still standing all these years later. So
yeah, we'll see.
Okay. Hey, Alan, come on, man. Okay, it's still there. Lady Liberty's still shining bright. But okay, well, that was a good one, you guys. So when we come back, though, we're going to delve into the mind of Max.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Now, do you have extruded polyvinyl foam insulation?
No.
Good. Assemble the aluminum J-channel using self-burring screws. Install.
What do I do
After
in case...
applying brushable coating to the panels,
Wait a minute.
you'll need some corrosion-resistant metal stucco lab.
Wait a minute.
If you can't find metal stucco lab, use carbon fiber stucco lab.
Oh!
Now barge the lab.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
YouTube's not always great, Alan. Okay, it's not always the answer. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from Allan Spices over at allanspices.com, and our pal Max over there behind the glass. There's just enough time probably for a quick text if you want to reach us at 901-683-0989.
If you want to complain about your extruded polyvinyl flooring.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't? That's all I do when I get out of here. But, Alan, you triggered me a little bit. Before we move on, I just want to say, because we were talking about the Colossus of Rhodes, which was a giant statue that essentially it was, it was over 100 feet tall. And when there was an earthquake, it was a statue of the god Helios, and when the earthquake came, it failed and it broke off at the knees, which makes total sense to me. I could see where the knees would be the point of failure. So here's the thing though. It inspired there's talk that this may have been an inspiration for the Statue of Liberty. And so, as a matter of fact, there's a famous poem by Emma Lazarus that calls it the new Colossus. Well,
right.
I didn't like your little comments before the break about that. I think the Statue of Liberty was a great engineering feat. It's still standing.
And it's been renovated twice.
Okay, it's been renovated, but see, here's the difference. Okay, for one thing, the Statue of Liberty, now in fairness, we're talking 2,000 years later with I-beam technology. But basically, if you don't know, folks, the inside of the Statue of Liberty has this frame construction with I-beams, and there's lots of flexibility built into the design, and also the coating of the metal on the outside is only the thickness of like 2 pennies or something. It's thin and flexible, and also she's got robes which create almost like a trapezoid shape, which is a lot more stable than a couple of knees.
Agreeing to every single bit of that.
Yeah, so I think they learned the lesson.
She also doesn't have knees.
Right, exactly. So
she is a base.
Right.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. I some big old feet sticking out of one of those robes.
Yeah,
yep.
So she'll be standing for years to come. So.
Well, the difference is maintenance.
Right.
She is being cared for in a semi-hostile environment. She's right there on the water.
Oh, think of the wind and
the wind,
forces.
the waves, just the sheer air. The other thing is she's in a seismically stable area.
I was about to ask you how seismically stable that is.
We don't have a lot of earthquakes in New York.
No, but it's an island. I didn't know.
Well, seismically, it's a lot more stable than the entire Greek area. Okay. The Mediterranean area is not. Let's just face it. We all know it's not seismically the most stable area on the planet.
Right.
She is a wonderful thing, but the biggest difference here is materials. What we've learned. And maintenance.
Yeah.
So we are going to take care of her. She's going to be shining for many, many years. But you let that maintenance wane, she's gonna go downhill pretty quick.
It's like Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, if you ever want fun too, just since like we said, the historians, there's no agreement on what the statue, the Colossus of Rhodes actually looked like. So if you want to get a good argument going, put a bunch of those guys in a room and let them debate what it actually looked like.
Did you sail under it or did it wave at you as you went by?
Right.
Yep.
So, okay. All right. Well, let's, very good. That was a good one, you guys. But let's shift gears.
And now, a deep cut with Maximilian.
Is this a deep cut or is that just the only soundbite you could find? So
it's the most convenient one to find.
Okay.
So you were asking me about the idea of aesthetic disguises. You want to know what triggered it?
Okay.
So I was at a certain place, and they recently did contracting work. And I don't like, and people might have said, "Oh, look, congratulations, you got the job done, and in an efficient time." Well, I kind of know why it was done efficiently because they kind of cut corners. They literally cut corners in certain areas. Like, for example, Joe, you have like really good that wooden countertop and everything in your kitchen. There's a part of it that I really appreciate where you have a little slit cut to make the ends flush. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Where they butt together.
They didn't do that with this. There was like two corners that were going to meet. And maybe in their defense, they used like stone or whatever, like maybe Formica. I don't remember. But anyways, rather than cutting it flush, they just use a little bit of quarter round to hide the gap that was produced as a result of the budding.
So you got this, whatever stone it's made out of, which is supposed to be the eye-catching thing, and then they jammed a piece of quarter round in there to cover the big gap. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. How often have we seen this, Alan? I mean, you're going to do some of this because houses are not square or level, but there's better ways to do it, man. And that's one of my beefs when they cut corners. So.
Well, yeah, we're going to reach what I call the Goldilocks zone because of I remember many, many years ago watching a very large apartment complex go in, and there's a Goldilocks zone of where you should be using baseboard and where you should be using quarter round. And, we all know there's a hole in the wall around the light socket.
Yeah.
We all know it's there. That's why we put a little plate over it. But you shouldn't, you shouldn't see 3 inches of caulk around that plate because they cut a hole big enough to put a dinner plate in it. There's a certain level where aesthetics are there to hide the necessary evils. We can't put this all the way to the ground perfectly every time because nothing's level. We can't perfectly get that corner, so we use the caulk and the paint and a variety of ways of disguising it and making it look aesthetically pleasing. But the aesthetics should never replace good practice.
See, that's what I was going to say, Max, because I think a lot of times the things you see where maybe they notched around something or whatever, it's because they did things in the wrong order. Maybe they put all the woodwork on the door frame up first, and then they put the flooring down, which is not what you're supposed to do. And then you're trying to notch around using the floor instead of just setting the door frame on top of the flooring.
There's a lot of those, and and again, I'm really pitching heavy as we're heading towards March. That we've had a mild winter. We haven't had a hurricane season. Lumber prices at the big box store are fairly decent. People haven't had a bad year. We don't have a lot of recovery from anything. So I'm really looking forward to a spring with people actually getting to do a lot of projects they want to do.
Yeah.
And so, Max, you're dead on the money with the topic here in that let's cut it properly. There's an axiom, measure twice, cut once. And if you got to measure 6 times, measure 6 times.
And I'd imagine, depending upon the medium, you have to be extra careful, too, with how you cut it, because wood can be a bit more forgiving, I imagine, when you cut it, but it's not something like stone or metal.
All right, the other thing, and I took a lot of time and effort to train a number of people this year on when you cut tile, remember the tile blade has a width.
Yeah, there you go.
And you're going to be off by that much every single cut if you're not aware of that.
Norman Rockwell getting in a buzzer beater text and everything right before we go.
Right.
He says, I'll bet you 10% of the time crown molding is to hide stuff, not decorate.
It ain't 10% of the time, I promise you.
I think he meant 100% of the time.
He's not wrong. And badly installed crown molding is its own sin. So, okay, good one, Norman Rockwell. So, well, boy, we got down to the wire on this one, you guys. We got everything in, but and actually there's more on the list here. So next week will be action-packed as well. But it's time to get out of here, you guys. So on behalf of my buddy Allan Gilbreth and our pal Max over there behind the glass, I'm Joe Thorderson. Thanks for listening to Tool Talk Radio, and we'll see you next week.